Hi everyone, so here it is, Samsung M31s. I wasn't planning on buying this phone because I had already used Samsung M31 and I thought how different it could be. It has the same Exynos 9611, same storage, same RAM, plastic pack, 6000 mAh battery. But turns out I was wrong. Setting up this phone was fairly easy. In Samsung and Apple, this is the thing I really like. So you have Smart Switch, which can copy everything and just copies your phone completely. So I switched from S20 to Galaxy M31s and I'm going to use this as my primary device. So let's talk about the processor first and get it over with, because this is the most disappointing feature of this phone. This is not the fastest mobile in this price range, and if you want something like that, you should go for 730G or 720G processor. This is not a gaming phone. I mean, yes, you can play Call of Duty on high graphics, but that's it. So if you want something better for gaming, just don't go for this phone. And when it comes to user interface, it has One UI 2.1, but it's a very basic version. You don't have a lot of features. Maybe it's because I'm coming from Galaxy S20, 120Hz refresh rate, but somehow the skin feels a little heavier to me. Now the question is, why would you buy this phone? You have Galaxy M31, A50s, and even A51 is not very expensive, so why this one? The main reason to go for this phone over Galaxy M31 or A50s is its design. This phone does not feel cheap at all. In fact, I didn't miss a glass back and just forgot that it's a plastic phone. I've used Galaxy M31 and it was a solid phone, but from behind you could feel it's plastic and it was not very smooth. But with this phone, the glass stick feeling is really good. The only problem is it attracts the fingerprint like a glass. The gradient color makes it look premium and eye-catching, but it's not vibrant, and I don't like the color like bright red or blue like Poco X2. I like the combination of silver and blue on this phone. It's a bit thicker and heavier than M31, but this is Samsung's first premium looking phone in M series. It has a frame now, which makes it look more premium, and one another reason to introduce that frame was the fingerprint sensor. So it has a side mounted fingerprint sensor that is embedded in the power button. I only have one complaint with that you can only register 3 fingerprints. So if you want to include someone else's fingerprint, you will only left with 2. And there's one issue with all the side mounted fingerprint, that you accidentally touch it multiple times, and after every 5 wrong attempts you have to key in your password or whatever your backup is. Face unlock on this phone is slow like every other Samsung phone, even on their high-end flagship phone as well. But one thing I really like about this phone, that while you are unlocking the phone or you are on the video call, the circle around the punch hole gets bigger, and I think this is the Samsung way of telling us that the camera is in use, so I like it. This leads to me the best part of this phone. No, I'm not talking about the camera, I'm talking about its display. It is good. This is one area where there is no cost cutting. It is a very beautiful and bright Super AMOLED display. Switching from the flagship phone to this phone does not make me feel that I'm downgrading. If you want your phone for media consumption, just go for it, and that small punch hole and the smaller chin makes it look really beautiful from the front. If you are with me so far, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. Now let's talk about that L-shaped camera. It's a minor upgrade over M31, so they have changed the camera sensor to Sony one from their Samsung one, and also they have upgraded the wide angle camera from 8 megapixel to 12 megapixel, but the depth camera and macro are the same. I will do a full camera comparison or a full camera review. I just need to go out for take some good pictures. In terms of battery life, it also has a 6000 mAh battery, but the charging speed has been increased from 15 watt to 25 watts. It takes almost 2 hours to fully charge this phone, which is better than Galaxy M31 2 hours 40 minutes. And you can easily get 1.5 days of battery life from this phone on high to moderate use. So now I can happily turn on my always on display and not tap to show. But I will give you more info about the battery in my full review. For interface, like I already said, it has One UI 2.1, which is based on Android 10. It comes with some useless apps and a discover option, but you can disable them if you want or uninstall them. There is no NFC, so no Samsung Pay, because that feature is limited to A series and their flagship phones. And there is a lot of confusion about Knox. When you power on this device, you will see that is secured by Knox, and if you search in the settings, it shows all the same options as my S20, but you do not get the secure folder. The Knox version is same, but there are some features missing, which makes sense because S20 is the flagship phone. Audio is something that I'm not really happy about. It has a loudspeaker, but on high volume, it is really sharp and it can distort. Hi everyone, so I finally got my iPad Pro 2020 edition. I'm reading my script on it, so let me just put it aside. This thing is not easy to get in. But the output from 3.5mm jack is okay. Also, Samsung should have also provided a case or at least a screen protector with this phone. Anyway, that was my initial impression of Galaxy M31s. I'll be doing the gaming test, camera review and the full review. So please subscribe to my channel and turn the notification on so you don't miss all of those videos. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.